you work harder, but it's not helping more because mentally you're pushing and emotionally you're pushing to get this.
My struggle is obviously the time, hand delivering thousands and thousands of emails in the week with the CRM and being able to push out those level one, level two emails.
The people that are willing to represent something larger than their own classroom, people that understand that influence carries weight, not applause. This is my estimation, would be 2 to 3 messages. At that point, the people that are ready now have connected to it. We have to see it as already happening, and we have to energetically put that in us to bring it out.
So some of the ideas that you gave today, I think, are good as far as framing that conversation to try to move people through it a little bit better. Okay, so the biggest thing, I guess, going on within our ranks right now, we have our February retreat coming up. We had talked about possibly even canceling it because it was dragging on. We weren't sure what we were going to do. We decided to go ahead and go for it. And when we did, we ended up getting a nice little influx of people who were really interested. Although they all haven't crossed the finish line as of yet. Okay. So we're a little apprehensive about that as far as getting 8. We've done, as you know, we've done the numbers. 8 is the magic number. 8 breaks us even, and we can usually get some inner circle stuff out of that, which usually helps overall. Right now we are at what number, Megan?
We have 5. We have 5, but one of those is inner circle, so they're coming in for free. So we have 4 paid.
Four paid.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's that. The other side of it, which is actually quite good, is we are finally getting the CRM organized, up to snuff. We use a group called Speaker Flow, and they have been working very diligently with us, with Jessica and Megan, to organize the CRM. So now we know who are leads, who are contacts. We have a nice email flow that Megan has just shared with me, which she's been using it for a while, right? But shared with me, tightening that up. Next step is going to be the automation of those emails, which will make it a lot easier for Megan, for follow-up, for all the pieces that are necessary for that.
Okay.
What am I missing?
I think as far as the CRM goes, just going through, we had around 700 contacts that weren't really tagged as anything other than just people sitting there. And so I have a list of people that they just didn't get the follow-up. They kind of fell through the cracks, I think, in just the systems, which is fine. And so I have a system for and a plan for all those people moving forward, either starting them over again in the process and reaching back out to people that have had a discovery call or have talked to Steve personally about within our ranks and have showed huge interest. Just in the few that I have done this last end of the week, I'm getting some good responses and people that are re-interested in it. So my plan moving forward for that is not only the automations for the campaign emails, like keeping them in the loop, but if they don't respond to those, I would like to set up a monthly newsletter to keep them informed of what's going on. I think a lot of it right now is awareness, and they forget that it's something there that they are still interested in. You know, the life of an educator, they get busy and forget it's there. So
yeah, and I want to emphasize what you said about awareness. That's something that Meg and I have committed to for this year, is awareness, and really making sure that people are aware. Because we're finding once people realize that this exists, they're like, wait, what? I didn't even know. So the more it's aware, the more that they're likely to join or even talk about it to somebody else.
Okay. So a little bit of that, 2 things jump out at me in the beginning, Steve, I'm going to talk about, which is we were thinking about canceling the retreat, and then we decided to go for it. And this happened, right? Up here. Like, we talk about this a lot, but like, we have to see it as already happening, and we have to energetically put that in us to bring it out, because our energy impacts what we do, and it permeates through the ether, whatever you want to call it. I believe this because I've experienced it so often. We can change the outcome of things to a certain level just by the way that we believe in it. And especially in your case, Steve, for you with your team, that's the first level. The second level are the other people, which are the people that are going to fill the seats. So I would make sure, and since you guys have such a close relationship and frequent relationship, to build each other up in that regard. Because Steve, it's like this for me too. You're the mast on the ship, right? And the sail is attached to you. If you're blowing wind into it, which is a good thing, right? Not full of hot air, by the way. But if you're blowing wind into it, then the ship is moving. If you get stagnant or like this for a minute, the pressure, I don't know Megan really well, but I already know her. She takes your pressure on. And then that just, you work harder, but it's not helping more because mentally you're pushing and emotionally you're pushing to get this. So today what I'll cover I think will help a little bit, but I just want to start with that piece because it's really important. So keep adjusting yourselves. And Megan, I don't know what you guys go through, and Steve, I don't know what you guys go through, but if you ever feel like, hey, it's getting heavy, I know you guys have a good enough relationship where you should make sure that you're mentioning that, right? So that you can help each other out. Because Megan, as you grow in your business too, you're going to be the mast, right? And it all falls on you. And you're already there, like with, the 17 kids that you have, right? Like, right. So it's kind of like, you're the thing. And if you're feeling great, then, everything's good. But as soon as you're heavy or angry or whatever it is, it's like the house gets silent and everybody's feeling our stuff. So that's one thing. The other thing with everything that's going on in the emails is make sure that there's some top-notch copywriting going on, not just chat copywriting, right? So I know Jessica's team, I think, has a copywriter in it. I would make sure that is tight. Okay, so what level of awareness are your people? Are we focusing on emotional triggers on top of it? Right? So those two factors.
So you're talking, just so I can be clear, you're talking about any messaging that goes out, it needs to be really focused on their level of awareness and touching those emotional touch points.
I agree, it does. Okay. Because the emotional triggers, there's 7 or 15 of them. They connect to us. They connect us to the reading, the listening, whatever it is that we're doing. And knowing what level of awareness they're at tells you how you approach the conversation, the message, whatever it is. So if they're level 2, they're aware there's a problem, but they really have no clue of how to change it. Then you come in and you transition them from level 2 to a 3, which is now I know I'm still aware there's a problem, but now I know there's a solution. And I'm almost convinced that Steve, or within our ranks or the inner circle, is the solution. Transitioning from a 3 to a 4 is where they'll buy, right? They won't buy until they're.
So here's my only thing. All right. We've gone through the emotional triggers before, and I believe in them. I know them. I think that they're good. Megan and I talk about them. When we're talking about mass communication, we're sending out a mass email, and because truthfully, a lot of the communication about within our ranks, most of the communication going out within our ranks is actually happening on the Stand Tall Steve side. Okay, right now, because I have more people. What level do I, and I know you say you start here and you go from here. Do I start at level 2 always? How long do I know people are staying at level 2? When do I know that they can move to level 3, 4, or 5? So to me, it is forever a shot in the dark.
Okay.
Because until I get feedback from them, saying to get an indicator, to get data to say what level they are, we are going to forever be shooting to level 2, like shooting to level 2, shooting to level 2. And then we'll throw out a level 3 and we'll throw out a level 4, hoping, and again, hope is not a strategy, but we're hoping that they have seen the level 2 and 3 and have digested it. How often do they, and I'm going on a rant a little bit, but
no, I like
how
it.
often are they supposed to hear level 2? Because my understanding is that when somebody hears a message, they hear it once, but they may need to hear it 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 times before they digest it to be able to move to the next level. And knowing the lives of educators, they'll look at it, they'll see it, and then they take forever to go on. So that's kind of where I am. I agree with you. And I know that the messaging needs to hit these emotional triggers, but where is the sweet spot specifically for educators?
Great question. And I like the way you're thinking about it because it makes sense. So level 2 is your first, from your talk to probably this is my estimation, would be 2 to 3 messages. At that point, the people that are ready now have connected to it. In any email that you send out, you're probably going to connect to 10% of the people. That's about it in that given time.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's
At
just
that
open
point,
rates and click rates. Right.
right. So if I'm creating a campaign, I'm going to put it in campaign format for my own benefit. After your talk, level 2 messages go out 2 to 3. Then I transition to level 3 because they've already heard it. The ones that actually heard it and have interest are now connected to it. That's at level 3 where I'm going to get them. And that's the people that are going to schedule a message. So Megan, when you get somebody in, and we're going to cover this a little bit to identify, they're going to tell you kind of what level they're at, basically by the question that you ask. But the majority of them, they're aware of the problem. They're aware that there's a solution, which is why they're on the call, right, to find out more. So they're already at a level 3. The thing is now the transition is connecting them to it, connecting them to something's bigger than them, and qualifying them to see if they're ready, like serious about and ready to be in part of that wave or that group that makes the change. People that are interested aren't always going to be ready. Like they'll have a desire to do it, but they won't be ready. And you experience that. You have
Right.
people that are like, man, they're perfect for it, but for whatever reason, they're not saying yes. They're just at a point where you don't have enough time to work them through it. And that's not your job. So level 2, I'd say 2 to 3 messages, transition to level 3. And then level 3 to 4 is where Megan is coming in, or if you're doing any of that follow-up, Steve, that would be 3 to 4. So they know there's a problem. They know you're the solution. They're just not 100% convinced yet that you're the ultimate solution. And that's the job.
So what I'm understanding here is our outbound communication kind of hangs around level 2 and 3.
Yes.
Hangs around 2 and 3. From 2 and 3, that's when they reach out. And then Megan is working with them back into 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
That's where she's hanging out at.
Level 5.
So we're looking at it. Oh, they're all in. Yeah. So level 3, 4, basically level 4.
Your buyers are 3s and 4s.
Which is pretty much, to be honest with you, what you're saying, Jacob, is pretty much how I've set it up. So, my struggle is obviously the time, hand delivering thousands and thousands of emails in the week with the CRM and being able to push out those level 1, level 2 emails and not me hand touching every single, person. But then when they do get to the discovery call, I have a series of emails that go out. If they didn't show up, they get these emails, right? To try to get them on, try to sign them up again, right? But if they did sign up, we did talk, then it's me and them talking. I mean, if I told you every time that I've talked to someone, you would be in amazement because I'm on phone calls and text messages at 10 o'clock at night. That's when educators are like, hey, by the way. So that's the process that's happening. What you're saying right now, that is going on. The kryptonite of this right now is when the CRM's finally there, that it will take off some of the insane amount of time it takes to send all these individual emails and me not losing people. because when there's over 700 people, my Google spreadsheet and color coding system, I can't keep up. So
I
they
get
get
it.
lost, and I only get the people that I think, yes, I can get you in, and no, I just can't right now. So I do believe eventually um, that the system that we have in place will be good, but I think we keep changing pieces of it. You know, it's like a science experiment. If you change too
It
many
is.
variables, you don't know what one works. And so if we can just stay true to this is what we're doing and this is where we're going to go with this and not change that for a few retreats to see if it's actually doable, that would take a lot of this guessing game.
Okay. Well, and I think that the once the flow starts, the speaker flow automation works, is that it can also start qualifying people. Because Steve
Mm-hmm.
and I have talked about making it the perception of a more exclusive group, which I think makes it more valuable in the long run. And I think that the email, that's why I said about copywriting and not just using chat. I think chat's a great starter. I don't think it's the completion.
Mm-hmm.
And because it it can only extrapolate, it can emotionally put something in the moment. And that's where creativity will, I think, will always be above AI when you get somebody that's good and creative. But I think that there's a, a campaign, email campaign that can flow to help qualify. Because you, seriously, with that many people, you need a team as good as Megan, probably three people at least to do it properly. So you're doing a great job with that. And what you're doing with right now, it's really about like, and I think what we'll cover a little bit will help you maybe qualify them just a one half step more. Um, and then the other people, it's like then you decide what to do. And I think either newsletter, if the blog post is working really well, making sure that they're getting access to that. And then how can we use the blog post for information like Steve, you and I talked about, maybe utilizing it a little bit more in social media and having that activity.
Yeah, well, we have to build up the blog. I mean, to be honest with you, our ghostwriter, what she did is she went through my Stand Tall Steve blog. She identified probably a good 8 to 10 blogs that we could easily just like that transition them right over to a Within Our Ranks blog, because I'll be honest, we don't have a blog yet for Within Our Ranks. Again, that's something else we have to do. It's an expense. You got all that to get it going. But we have something to start with that. Right now, I think the biggest thing that I know Megan's been using is we have a variety of YouTube videos that really hit home, and I have to pat myself on the back. I think they're really good videos that explains Within Our Ranks, the world of teaching, what it can do, all those pieces to it as well, which we
Well, I
are
think that
utilizing.
the transcripts of that could be a blog, right? So,
I think
I'm
that's what
gonna,
we've done. Yeah, yeah.
okay,
Hmm.
good. Yeah, because I would be going like, let me go the path of least resistance possible and least expense, which is let me create something and then let's use every piece of it that we can in whatever form we can
Yeah,
to gain
maximize,
some
reuse,
leverage,
reuse, reuse.
for sure on that. So I think that I think you're on a good path, and I think that you're right that it does take some time to figure some of these pieces out. Um, the pressure with any business, it doesn't matter if it's Steve or anybody else, is that we have there's only so long we can go before we feel the pressure, and we're human. It's going to happen. I was talking to my YouTube guy last week. It's like, hey, my YouTube channel has grown. It's looking great, but I'm not really getting anything back from it. And how long am I going to keep paying for it until boom? So for now, it's kind of like, all right, I'm committed to another year of this. But, in all honesty, I just told him, I said, hey, at the end of a year, it's like, if this thing isn't doing nothing, I've given it 2 solid years. It's like, so let's transition and do this. I think with what you're doing, the curve is going to be much lower because you have Megan and Megan because you're so active doing it. And you're really good, just being honest with what you're doing. So let me kind of share, let me pull it up first. Let me share what I've kind of been working on a little bit. This is just to go over. This isn't saying, hey, you should be doing this. So I want to make sure that I set this up properly in the beginning. So let me share my screen. So this is like from your call, your first call. And I wouldn't start with this, but the whole gist of, I've told Steve this story before, but I'm on two tennis teams. I'm on many, but I'm on two tennis teams specifically, that the expectation is the least that's going to happen is we get to sectionals. The way that it goes, you go playoffs, sectionals, nationals. In amateur tennis, the ultimate goal, our Super Bowl, is getting to nationals and playing in the finals. And so in being a part of something bigger, you show up different. There's organized, structured practice. People go to it. You talk about, successes and helping each other out, and it's more of a team effort because you're part of something bigger. Each match has more importance, but not more pressure, because we are a part of something bigger. And it's really fun to be a part. It's really fun to be on those teams. It's like it's an honored place to be asked to play for those teams. And so getting to that, which is in getting somebody, an educator, understanding that this is a selective process. It's not a given, because everyone will say, I would love climate and culture of education to change, but not everybody's willing to do it. And you could use Steve as an example, and Steve, you could too. It's like you'll have many educational speakers. If I talk to them about climate and change, they'll be like, oh yeah, it needs to change, it needs to do this. But how many people are actually doing something about it? I put my line in the sand, I put my stake in the ground, I did whatever it is. I'm creating a movement, a community of people within our ranks and inner circle who are going to make this change. So for you, Megan, it's like, hey, quick question. Not everybody's a fit. So I want to be respectful of your time. What's the real reason for wanting to speak or advocate for change in education? Right? Getting them to kind of like start opening up a little bit. So it signals selectivity. It's not a fit for everybody. It's an emotional trigger. I kind of unconsciously want to be a part of it. It puts meaning before the mechanics or before they feel like they have to buy anything or make a commitment. And it forces identity-based thinking. And identity-based thinking is being a part of something bigger, being a part of it, right? So qualifying on a higher level. Now you separate the tourists from the builders. And once they answer, you say, oh, that makes sense. Let me ask you this. Are you looking to occasionally share ideas, or are you committed to being a part of a movement that changes how education actually works? This I would ask within the first 3 minutes, because this tells you where you're taking your conversation. Am I going to spend time with them, or am I going to say, you know what, based on what we're doing, after a few minutes, I'm going to say, hey, Steve, based on what we're talking about, let me send you some information, and let me make sure that you're added into the community, into the newsletter, into whatever it is that you do, you funnel them in. And they're on the email campaign that gets sent out for level 2 and 3s for future marketing. And I'll talk to you about that by the end of it, Steve, which is how you can utilize those emotional triggers and those levels for marketing to the people that are on the list, to filter some through, because like we said, not everybody's ready in the moment, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to be ready at some point. So why this works, it's a binary choice. There's no judgment. They place themselves. So there's no selling going on here yet. This is just kind of like we're qualifying them out. We're feeling it out. So you don't ask about skills yet. You ask about stamina and responsibility. So, and then this would be a conversation. So if I flow it, I'm going to say, hey, this makes sense. Let me ask you this. Are you looking to occasionally share ideas, or are you committed to being a part of a movement that changes how education actually works? And you're saying this matters. The reason I asked that question, Megan, is because this matters because the people that Steve works closely with don't just speak, they represent something bigger than themselves. This is about changing the culture and the climate of education. So let me ask you this. What's one cost you're already paying for caring this much about education? Emotionally, financially, or from integrity? And why that works is because you're touching.
Say that question again. That question, for some reason, when you said that, it kind of felt weird.
Okay.
What's
So,
one cost
yeah, what's
you're
one
already
cost that
paying?
you're already paying for caring this much about education? So let me put a comma there.
As a
Caring,
teacher, Megan, how does that fit? I'm just curious. That statement, that question.
let me do this. What's one cost you're already paying for, emotionally, financially, or from integrity, caring this much about education? Because up above, they said, right? Are you
Yeah.
looking to occasionally share ideas? You're committed to being a part of this movement.
What's your thoughts?
Well, I guess my conversations with these educators I ask that same question in a different sense, of course, is are you looking to share your message and stay in your position? Are you looking to make this bigger? Like to go on, right? Because a lot of educators hop on and they're not wanting to leave their very secure spot, but learn this, right? And so
I would just say one little switch with that. I don't think it's a bad question. So say it again, the second part. Are you looking to
make this your own business?
Okay.
To do it full time.
So I would just
Or are
say,
you looking just to do it on your own, or just add it to what you're doing already?
yeah. Are you looking to continue teaching and maybe doing this occasionally? Or do you know how to transition this into a business that could exceed where you're at now financially?
Okay.
Right? Because a lot of them, they have no clue. They're a teacher, right? They might have a little side gig that they do that makes a little bit of money, but so they're thinking in those terms. Okay? That's the only switch I would do.
Well, I'm curious now from Megan, like how many say one or the other? How many say that they,
Most of them want to stay in their position and learn what this is and try to understand it and share their message either with their staff or kind of go out here and there. They're very skeptical because they don't know what their district's going to do if they leave, if they have time to leave. What will people think about them? On the same sense, the other side is, well, I'm close to retirement. I want to know what it is that I could do and continue my impact. And if I can take that risk because I will still have a financial income of my retirement and give this a go and impact education.
Yeah, so you got one or the other. You got one side or the other.
So
They're
hey,
all
Megan,
there. Okay.
Megan, let me ask you a question. If you could replace or exceed your income and benefits from doing this, would that make a difference?
I would have to have a full understanding of what this is.
Okay, so that means that you're at least open to it. Okay, great. Boom. So at least now I'm like opening you up a little bit.
Right.
Because they don't know.
But again,
they're constricting.
Here's again, and I hate to keep being devil's advocate, but I need to just make sure that this really hits educators, because there's a good number, and correct me if I'm wrong, Megan, that income income is not the Oedipus of them doing anything. I would say probably 60 to 70% just want to make an impact in education.
Okay. And they want
is that a right number? Is that not a percentage?
So not only that, like that's their number one goal is to share what they know, right? Because what they have, they know works. And honestly, as we're talking about this, the people I'm talking to, they're being very selfish. When it says like, do you want to be part of this movement and help us do that? No, they don't. They just want to share what they have. They're very selfish in what they have, and they know what they have.
That's a good way of putting it.
And so when you say to them, Yes, you know what? You're right. Education does need to hear how we need to share about social studies or whatever, right? You're right. You do need to hear that. And then it goes to, well, did you know that you could do this and make some money? Like they're not trying to replace income. They're not trying to get more out of it. They're worried, however, that if I invest in this, what's my return on investment if I go? How long will it take for me to get my money back? So they're already risk taking, right? Like how big of a risk am I taking? I don't know how many times I get, what's the data of success rate? Like this lady, I just asked Steve. She came back
Mm.
and said, my husband is a data analyst for math in high school, and I want to know the percentage of people that attend these retreats and how many of them move on to continue to do this work. So I'm throwing numbers at the wall like spaghetti because I don't know what the actual percentage is, and I'm just getting close.
So
Um,
here's my feedback. So give me that. Let's role play real quick. And I don't know your stuff as well as you do, but just role play. Give me that response, the data response.
the data responds. So in the years working within our ranks, we have about 65 participants that have gone through within our ranks. If you put in the work, if you work hard and you do what we've asked, because what you put in is what you get out, we have a success rate of 80 to 85% of people that continue on with this work.
Okay. So give me that person's response. My husband's a data person or whatever. What's the data thing you said? Give me
I
that
don't
one.
know. I haven't responded to her yet.
No,
That's the
but what
person.
did she
But
say? What did she
she,
say?
most of them say, oh, wow, okay. And so then we
But
go on to have the conversation because then they will ask, well, how long does that take? And I
so
tell them, quite honestly, I'm not telling you to quit your job. In fact, we don't want you to quit what you're doing. We want you to learn how this works. We want to make sure that you're prepared. And within the year, in my own personal experience, the hard work that I put in, I can tell you within the year and a half that I was getting a paid gig,
okay.
which is true,
So
right? But
so you were alluding though that they say something about they want a number from you.
mhm.
And I don't remember exactly what you were saying. I'm trying to role play on that. Like I'm you, right? You're the person I'm talking to. What's the pushback they give you?
um,
It was like, is
they're
there
push
a number or how long is it going to take for me to do that or something like that? You were, eh,
Yeah,
okay,
their question, I guess, is how long does it take for me to get my money back, essentially?
okay. So I'd say, well, let me ask you a couple questions then, Megan. It when you become part of within our ranks, when you participate, would you give fully committed 100%? And this is something for you to answer truthfully for yourself because the answer makes a difference. Would you put in 100% effort when you participate?
Yes, as long as my job allows me to. I have a
Okay.
lot going on at work. I'm running a giant school.
Yeah. So let's just say in the gaps that you have, right? And you
Hmm.
decide, hey, I'm going to put in this much time and these time. You're saying that you would put in 100%.
Yes.
Okay. If you're willing to do that, in my experience, because it's a subjective answer because it depends on the person,
Hmm.
but if the people that show up and put 100% effort in when they show up, those people, it takes on average around 12 to 18 months. Now, we would never guarantee it because it's subjective. There's two different sides of the coin that happen, but these are educators. They're not people, and they're serious. The people we bring in are serious about making change in culture, in climate, and education. We're looking at a 12 to 18 month cycle. By you just putting in bits and pieces of time when you have it available, the people that have more time available or that retire and do that, that curve exponentially grows or it shrinks down quite exponentially. I mean, quite frankly, I could see somebody 100% in doing it in 6 months. But in your situation, I would say clearly if you're 100% in, it'd be 12 to 18 months.
Okay.
What's the percentage that succeed? Again, that's going to be a little bit subjective. I'd say the percentage of people that succeed that put 100% effort in, it's minimum 80, 85%. And the only
Hmm.
reason that
Let's
it
break
wouldn't
let's
work, is because they might not listen to everything that we ask them to do, or they might not do it at the level that we ask them to do. That's all. But this will work. If you commit and you follow what's already been proven, because Steve's been proving it, if you follow this, it will work 100% of the time. We just can't guarantee the time lapse because we don't know what your time investment is.
Right. Okay.
And
Let's
then
break this down. What you did then is someone's coming back with her with the question as to give me percentages and give me things like that. Instead of going right to an answer of a percentage, you're going to interrupt that stream of thought and say, hey, hold on, let me ask you one question. How much time do you have? And you're pushing it back to them to ask a question.
Yep.
So now you're shifting that back to them as to what it is that they're willing to do and able to make happen.
It's
when
not
that
the
happens,
time, it's a percent.
Yeah.
It's their
It's
commitment.
the
Are you
percentage.
100% committed?
What's that commitment? What's that commitment for this? And then once you've identified the level of commitment necessary, you're having Megan ride on that level of commitment, which can showcase the level of success, which is true for absolutely anything and everything.
It is. That's why I went there.
Okay.
And then here's how you frame it. Here's how you cap it off at the end with a nice little cap. Is you just say, let me ask you a question. What's one thing that you can remember that you fully 100% committed to?
Mm.
And they could say, well, I don't know. And I'd say, is there ever been a vacation that you were like, you had to go to this place, or you wanted to do this, or you wanted to do that?
Or maybe somebody committed to a sports team as a coach. We got to stay in the education realm here.
Okay.
I think,
So stay in the education realm, but just saying in that it, just saying pertaining to your educational career. What's one thing you had to commit 100% effort into to make it happen? And they'll say this, and I said, did it work? Boom. And I'd say, well, there's your proof. If you're willing to put 100% effort into it, you're already proven that you can make it succeed. We're here to help. So we're going to make it even easier than you had it before.
Okay.
Now all of a sudden they're like, okay, well, now I'm a little more open. It doesn't mean they're going to say yes, but what we're doing is we're opening them up, right? Because they come here and they're like, what's the data? This thing, I need this answer. And the data, it's all subjective.
Yeah.
And educators are very skeptical of taking risks.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because just the nature of education, so many times we've taken risks and it bites us in the ass,
Yeah.
So I get
the other
that.
thing too with that, following up on that thing that we just had the conversation about is, hey, Megan, since you said what you put in 100%, you succeeded in, and what we're doing is we're minimizing the risk. Because if you're willing to show up with 100% effort in the times that you have available to it, we're going to give you 100% effort in the information and the proven strategies already. Steve took the risk out by doing this for the last, 15, 20 years.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
That just lightens it up.
Yeah.
Right. But what you did was you're not defending. I'm throwing it back at you.
Right.
Right. In the nicest way possible. But I'm making you commit to saying that you're going to give 100% effort. If they say, well, I can't promise that I would give 100% effort. And I'd say, then we can't promise and commit that you'll succeed, because it's based on your willingness to be able to be change in the climate and culture of education. We can't just say we want to change and then not do anything about it. We got to be 100% in. And that's why I'm talking to you today, is because Steve is growing this community, is growing this organization within our ranks, but we're only taking the people that are super serious about doing it and making the change. I know that you're that person, but it takes a commitment to saying, hey, in the time that I have available, I'm going to show up and be 100% present. And if you do that, I promise you will succeed in it.
Right. Okay.
Right. So once they answer something, so back to this, and again, like I said, this isn't in stone. This is to do what just happened, to bring stuff to the surface, and then let's change the way that I wrote it, because I'm only coming from my perspective. So once you ask a question, hey, what's the cost? Or let's say you had that commitment answer, the data answer, and you say, that's exactly the kind of answer we're looking for, Jacob. The inner circle is an open enrollment. It's for educators who are willing to carry the message with integrity and give 100% when they're available, right? Excuse me. So would it be useful if I should
say, I like how you said that's exactly the kind of answer we're looking for. So what that does is it furthers their desire to want to be a part of it. It's like, oh, you did the right, oh, good. That's what we're looking for.
people
And it's
love to
kind
be
of
acknowledged, right?
acknowledge
they want to be
yeah,
right.
they're moving closer to the of being accepted. Okay.
Would it be useful if I shared what Steve looks for before inviting somebody in? Bill, they're probably going to say yes because they've opted in psychologically based on this one, that response. And then at this point, you can either send an email or you can continue on the conversation, depending on how long you've gone. One of the things that I would do is, because you have so much on your plate, is I would allot a certain amount of time for my call. If I exceed that time, then I'm going to probably transition and schedule another call with them if it makes sense.
Right.
This is a feeling moment. Do I feel that this person is really ready to do it, or are they going to take more time? If they are, I'm going to say, you know what? I think this is a good point to stop. I'm going to send you an email. I think that you're really qualified to go to that next level of consideration with us. And if they say, what do you mean? Say, well, it's a consideration from both sides, because Steve only takes on the people that he knows for sure are going to be the impact in climate, culture, and change. And so I'm going to send you an email message. But before I do that, I want to schedule our follow-up call. Can you read this today and we have a call tomorrow? Or can you read this and we schedule a call, as soon as possible? And then that's because what I want
matter of getting well, would you want them to schedule the next call before they get off that phone call?
Yes, every single time.
Okay,
Otherwise, you're chasing them and they get busy and they forget and they put you off. And so I'd say I'm also going to make sure they put it in a schedule or a calendar. Right. And the way that you can check them is you say, hey, let's schedule a time now. And they'll say, okay, Monday the 26th at 4:00, and I'll say okay. And so then I'm going to go, hey, I'm going to send you this email. I'll go through it real quick with you, but I just want to follow up with Inner Rank. Steve's Inner Circle is designed for everybody who likes the idea of changing education. It's for educators who feel personally responsible for the climate and culture students experience. And the reason that I'm sending you this email is because you've answered that with flying colors, right? The people that are willing to represent something larger than their own classroom, people that understand that influence carries weight, not applause. Many teachers want to speak, very few want to stand. And this, again, I would change it to your wording. Before any invitation is extended, Steve looks for one thing above all else, a clean answer to this. What must this message move you through and not somebody else? Why must this message move through you and not somebody else? And so this is where you touch on, you shared with me, or many educators share with me, that they have something to offer that could help the climate and culture of education. Why must this message move through you and not somebody else? Right? If you feel pulled,
I'm going to jump in on that statement.
Go ahead.
I like that statement. Although we have, I'd say, a good third of the people who have imposter syndrome, and they're not even sure.
Okay.
Would you agree with that, Megan?
Yeah.
I mean, we do have some people who are just like, I'm here, but I don't even know.
Yeah.
And you're holding their hand, you're dragging them through. Like, it's okay. You are the reason.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's still a talking point. So even if you do state that, I think it's good. And then you can kind of, and Megan's good with people. She really connects with people well. So whether they say yes or no with that, I think you can kind of use that statement and help build a stronger relationship.
System. I don't even know. Like, I don't know if I even have a message, Megan. blah, blah. And I'd say, based on what you've told me, I know you do. What this program does, especially in the beginning, is helps pull it out of you. You have the message inside of you. You just don't know how to access it yet.
Right.
You have the willingness to change. You have the desire to change. You know it needs to change. You're here today, right? You're taking your time for this. You have every single ingredient that's required. We just put it together and make sure that it blends into the right recipe for you. And part of that is figuring out what your message really is. You already have it inside of you. Our job is to help pull it out of you. That's what it is.
Right. Okay.
So if you feel pulled to answer that honestly, reply to this email with your response. I would change this because you're already asking them to reply. If that's not completely okay, awareness comes before readiness. So that was just like a cold email going out that was saying, hey, look, it's changing now as we're talking. Either way, thank you enough for caring about education to explore this path. Boom. Follow-up call. Conversation decide a couple things, whether an invitation makes sense or whether it's the right time. Either outcome is a win. Clarity matters here. And so I wouldn't say it exactly like that, but I like the first part of this.
Right.
Okay. And then my answer to that, why it works, it removes the pressure, it signals authority, and it lowers their defense a little bit. So you mentioned that what's driving you is, boom, what happens if nothing changes in the next 3 to 5 years? So with that question after I read it a couple times, because they may say, well, I've been doing this for 20 years already. The same thing's going to happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I might take this one out. Just because it opens up that possibility. So what the whole thing is, whatever question is asked, listen for the emotional weight of this. So does it feel like they've been thinking about this email or your question or response, right? Or does it feel like they were just answering it in the moment? Right. And that's personal cost. Is it money, time? They're unsure what's next. Now with this, obviously it's not going to be as much money, but personal costs. Have they thought of like, well, I'm just not sure if I have that much time or blah, blah, blah. Like, so which means the feedback is, hey, I've been really thinking about this. I'm just not sure. Right. So this is the transition from a 3 to a 4. Ownership language, I, not they. This is where they are seeing themselves in or not yet. We need them to feel they can be a part of something or something big. Do you see yourself, let's just say everything was right, Megan. Everything was perfect. Would you see yourself being a part of a movement like this, or an organization or a group like this of educators like you that are looking to change a climate and culture of education? Do you see yourself being a part of that? What's the most appealing? What's the most appealing part? Yeah, I do. What's the most appealing part?
The community. They want people that are like-minded because they don't understand there's not very
that's
many
a
of them who
huge
think like
selling
that.
point, is that they know other people are like them. They're not alone. Yeah.
So now imagine this, right? Not only is it a community, but it's a community that is on the crest of a wave of change. That's you right here, not down here at the bottom of a wave, waiting for the next one. This is what Steve's looking to do, is people that are willing to ride that crest of the wave. So thanks for being again on this call. This is a make or break moment. People in the inner circle aren't just learning to speak, they're trusted to represent this message publicly to change culture and climate of education. What does this responsibility mean to you? Right? I'm getting commitment before I'm even asking them to do anything. So this is part of like you're getting them to yes before you even ask. Because sometimes once this question is answered, they're like, well, what do we need to do to start?
Right.
So a little bit of this is trying to pre-sell it before while you're having that conversation. And again, I'm not looking to change your whole conversation because I think you have a really good flow. I just want you to take the few bits and pieces from this that make the most sense and just fine tune a little bit about what you're doing. Because I think that you really are doing a good job. Okay. If they hesitate or intellectualize, they're not ready. If they answer personally, lean in, and that means they're ready. This is a person that's qualified now. If they're not ready, I might even say it if I have a good enough relationship where I feel, in my sense, cocky enough that day, and not in a bad way or arrogant way. I'd just be like, hey, Megan, the way that you're hesitating, I'm just not 100% convinced that you believe you're ready yet. Is that accurate? Well, now that you say it, boom, you're going to get the real response because I haven't asked you to buy anything yet. And then testing readiness. This work requires consistency, visibility, and follow through. What would you need to stop tolerating or in your current situation to do this well? Right? So I would change this again based on what we talk about and getting reintroduced to your message, Steve. But what I'm trying to do in this question, and I would have you guys come up with it, the better one, is you're just testing their readiness. This work will require, boom, we had talked about 100% effort in the time that you have. This work requires that. It's going to require a little bit of follow through and a little bit of testing. What would you need to stop? I don't really like stop tolerating once I read it out loud. What would need to change for you in order for you to be able to do this well at a level where you believe you can be a part of this change? I would need this. That's exactly what this program offers. I'm going to ask you to really.
Well, I worry about that question because if you say to them, what would need to change for you to do this? Would they start going down a rabbit hole of, well, I got this and I got this and I got this. And next thing you know, they're talking themselves out of it. Like, oh, you know what? You're right. I can't do this. I got too much going on. Oh, my, I worry about dangling the possibility of allowing them to talk themselves out of it.
How would you finish that? Hey, based on your answers, I feel you are ready to be a part of this community. So to test their readiness, how would you finish that, Megan?
Sorry, my brain was off.
That's okay.
I was taking Steve's rabbit hole. Based on your answer, I feel you're ready to be a part of this community. I literally would wait. I would wait and see what they have to say. Like, what are your thoughts? Because here's the thing, I was just thinking about this, that it's almost like I'm giving them permission for it to be okay to have this thought. It's okay to think that what you have to share is what others want to hear. It's okay to take time off of school, out of your principalship, stepping aside to share your knowledge. The more I talk to them, the more they're very much selfish in what they want to do, and they're scared that others won't accept it. They don't understand that this is something that can happen for them in a positive way. They almost want to hide it. They want to hide that this is something that they want to do.
Yeah,
So
because then once they come into it, they even have a hard time marketing themselves. Because like, oh, nobody can know I'm doing this. Oh, what if the school district finds out? What if they do? You'd be all right.
Right.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's good. So here's my adjustment on that. Hey, based on your answers, I know your message can have an impact, and I feel you're ready to be a part of this community. What are your thoughts?
So you're validating them, giving them permission, and now you're asking for their thoughts. Yep. And you're almost daring them to think differently than what you did.
Well, and this is also pulling out any objections as well before you even ask them to be a part of it. And then you move into the close. And I think you're pretty good with the close, so I won't go through all of that part. I hope that this opened up just a little bit more. What it's doing is it's shifting it a little bit into more of a mental process of exclusivity, right? Being a part of something bigger, instead of just being a part of this community, right?
Right.
Being a part of this community of changing the culture and climate of education, but you being a part of it. And this is an exclusive community, and Steve's being selective in who he's picking.
I
And
think, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think
no, that's
some of these
good.
people, I lost four people within a 4 day time span, so there's that. And their reasonings were, I got a gig, so I can't come that weekend. My daughter has family night at a university, and we're hosting a basketball game, and I have to be there because I coach this basketball thing for my son. I can't compete with that, right? I can't
Right, you
tell
can't.
this gentleman, I don't care that you got a gig. You said you were going to come, and you told me before Christmas you said you were coming. You know what I mean? Like there's no rebuttal for those. It's just like, thank you for letting me know. Good luck on your basketball tournament. Our next date is in Philly, June 5th through the 7th. There isn't any
No,
pushing.
there's not. The only thing I would do on that, you're not going to compete against that. And it's okay. It's like, all right, so let me ask you this. Let's put you in to the June one right now. Let's make you commit to that. And then tell me one person you know that I can reach out to right now that you know could fill your seat.
Yep, which I do.
Mhm.
But I would
I
I
used
would I
I
would do my best to pen them in for the June program.
right,
Like, hey, we already did the hard work. You're qualified, you like it, you know that this can
right.
work. Let's get you into June then. I understand that. I wouldn't not do that either. But let's get you in here so that you can help be the change for the culture and the climate of education. They need you and the time is now. Let's pen you in for June.
Yeah. I think those are the things that I'm coming across is, well, I'm hosting, like I just got one this morning. Hey, I can't make it to June. I'm hosting a conference. I'm the president of X, Y, and Z. All right, well, let's look at November, and they don't want to plan out that far ahead. That's scary for them. So it's just
And
that's
that's
where we're
good.
at.
That is going to happen. It doesn't matter how thin or how full
Yeah.
the pipeline is. That's always going to happen. When the pipeline's thinner, it has a deeper impact, right? It's kind of like if I have 4 appointments and two say, "Hey, I need to reschedule." I'm like, ah. If I have 10 appointments and two reschedule, I'm like, okay,
That's
right?
that's where I think that as much as we are focusing on the discovery call and getting people in and that piece, I'm feeling more solid on that, but I want to know like what is it in the awareness piece aside from me talking to these people, aside from Steve speaking and me getting the talk dot, like how else can we have awareness? Like what else is can we talk to these people and let them know about the things. And my only small business brain says, well, we got to get it on social media. We got to get out on the newsletters. We have to, get into conferences at exhibitors hall, but all of that costs money, so I don't know what else can I do? That's where
Yeah,
I'm at.
I
That's my
think
frustration.
And I'm with you on that. And that again, our biggest thing this year is awareness, 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 awareness. We got to make sure people are more aware of it. And right now, again, the number one way for people to be aware is when I go and I speak. I speak and they hear me and I mention it, and then people start coming. And I know there needs to be more avenues of awareness than that.
well, and just in both of your conversation, but Megan, for you, I think that you're doing, like I said before, a good job, and I think that you're doing the capacity that you can. I would also make sure that you're doing something to reset yourself mentally and emotionally, because sales is can be really lonely, and it can be like, what's the worst question you can ask you at the end of a day, Megan? At the end
How
of a
many
day,
people
what's the
are
worst question I could ask?
how many people are in for their treat?
Right? It's
I
like,
literally want
hey,
to
what'd you
punch
do
someone and be
today? And
like,
it's like,
ask it again. Ask it
right?
again. It's not like I'm showing up and be like, how can I not make this work? How can I fail you today? Yes, yeah, it's not from lack of effort.
It's
So,
not. So what you have to do is you have to remember to let me breathe. That's why I started off that conversation about like, hey, we need to lift each other up. Like, if I go out here, the worst thing my wife can say when things are slow, hey, how many appointments do you have today? right? Like, I've been working my butt off, man, and I have two, or it's almost like if I want to go to my ego, it's like, are you happy now? It's like, so
Mhm.
it's just understanding that, and then
Mhm.
try knowing to be good with ourselves. The other thing I know is that Steve is proactively on the things that you're talking about, the emails, the social media, um, getting things in place and alignment for that. And Steve, for you too, this is like um, taking a walk in cold syrup on January 26th when it's 8 degrees outside and you just shoveled a foot and a half of icy snow. It's hard. It feels like hard work. Um, keep understanding and putting yourself in that place of knowing exactly the outcome that you're looking to get and putting yourself in that place emotionally of having it. So you too, Megan, it's like, 8 is the number. And picture that 8, right? It's like, I only need 4 people, right? And it's
Yeah.
kind of like, all right,
Mhm.
for me, I talk to God. So, hey, God, align me with the 4 people. That's all I'm asking for. I'm going to do the work. Just, just have me, just give me a nudge and pick the right 4 people today, right? I might have to have 20 phone calls. Thank you for putting those 4 in those 20 calls. Put yourself in that place of getting that piece. It does make a difference. I'm not saying it's the thing that's going to turn things around, but it does make a difference.
Yeah.
Understand you're doing a good job. Steve, understand you're doing a good job. Like, seriously, this is
And I thank
one
you
of
for this. And here's one of the things is Meg and I both know this is going to work.
Mhm.
Like this is going to be outrageously successful.
yeah.
And we are we're just plugging away. We're trying the things. We're getting things set up. Um, but again, I always say vision excites my future, but frustrates my present. We can see it
right?
and we're excited about it, but darn it if we're not frustrated right now.
Trust me,
And
man. I know
that's
your
a
pain.
hard frustration as far as, and I try not to bring the money thing into it, but it's a major piece of it that we got to, make sure that we have the funding in order to make this work. So
It is, but we're not going
yeah,
to quit doing it
yeah,
anyway.
no. And
I'm
I
gonna
think some
be.
of some of the ideas that you gave today, I think are good as far as framing that conversation to try to move people
uh,
through it a little bit better. I have to say how impressed I am been with Megan on how she connects with people. And
Me
um,
too.
yeah, it's really, really great. It's the selfishness of educators. It's the unawareness of educators. It's the fear of educators that we're dealing with.
So those
It's
people,
yeah.
we're going to qualify them early. And hey, check out the newsletter. We're looking for that 8% of people that are ready now. It's a filtering process. The emails, and I'll help you as much as I can work on the email campaign once this gets in a position where it can happen. But what needs to happen are email campaigns that market this, start filtering people through. So Megan doesn't have to go through 100 people to find
Oh
that
yeah, we're working on
group,
that. And actually,
right?
I like that. She just shared with me the 10 email set that I think is really, really nice. I think it's an excellent email set. It guides people through. It keeps them awareness. Um, I gave a couple of notes in there, I think, on some things. I think we need to highlight maybe the community a little bit more. But
And Megan, I wouldn't
I
be
think, yeah.
remiss at times to say, Jacob, I'm not sensing that you're as serious as you need to be to commit to this. I think you're serious about wanting to change. I don't think you're serious about committing to it. Where are you
Mhm.
at? Right? Like, call people out
Right.
sometimes. It's like, and sometimes we need to hear that. You know what? You're right. Hey, I need to think about it. And I'd say, I'm just going to use your name, Steve, because you're there. And I'd say, Steve, how many times have you had to think about it in the last 3 to 5 years? And you're in the same place you're at. I'm not saying I'm the right answer, but I'm
Right.
here right now, and we're connecting on the reasons that you need to change. How much longer do you need to think about it? right? And it's not just about the money. And so sometimes people go, you know what, you're right. It's not everybody that says that. Some people go, well, I don't know. I just need to think about it. And I'm like, okay. I cut them off,
All right.
let them float to another island.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And
Okay.
so qualifying them up front, that's why I say it saves you time. And I think in the beginning, once you go through this recording, those few 2 or 3 questions in the front, I would look at what am I asking now? How can I adjust the questions that I'm asking now to fit this? And I think you'll qualify them a little quicker. Um, Qualifying them faster and talking to people that have more interest inspire us, don't deflate us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talking to a bunch of people that then they come up and you're like, all right, I finally got somebody. And then they go, oh, I got my kid's basketball game. Sorry. And then you're like, damn it, all that work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
breathe.
All right.
I'm here too. And I've told this to
Right.
Steve, and Steve's good with it.
Sure.
Anything that you and I would do, I share with Steve, but
Mm-hmm.
you have access to me. So you're in a place and you're like frustrated as can be, and it's like you just want to talk it through. I don't judge. Um, I will share that I had a conversation, but it's up to you to share what the conversation is.
Okay.
But obviously, knowing Steve's my client.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah, you're welcome. I appreciate you.